In today's video, we are going to be making some super easy chili soup with some breadsticks on the side. Welcome back everyone. I'm so glad you joined me today for another recipe tutorial. I'm so excited to share with you. And yeah, I hope you are staying warm wherever you are. And I know it's been kind of a challenge. It's been really cold here, so I'm looking forward to making some nice warm soup as well as just some breadsticks on the side. Somehow these just complement each other and we just love to make these. It's one of our favorite recipes and something really good this time of the year. Another thing that I really like about this recipe is super easy ingredients. You basically just dump and go and let it simmer and it's ready. So it's really easy. You can basically buy all the ingredients if you want to. They're all in the grocery store, easily accessible. So nothing fancy, no fancy ingredients that it's not really something that you buy ever. And you may even have a lot of these ingredients on hand already. So we're going to get started. Our first ingredient is our ground beef, of course. This is 2 pounds, and we process our own ground beef here. So all I have to do is go down to the freezer, get 2 pounds of ground beef out, and we're set to go. Just let it thaw and get it fried up. So that's what we're going to do next, is get that fried up in our frying pan. And I like to use this I'm not even sure the real name for it. I can't think of it right now, but it's basically to chop your ground beef as you're frying it. Works really well. It has nice edges on it, so you can really chop it up, get everything ground up really fine. This one is from Pampered Chef, but I know you can buy these at Walmart. I'll try to link one for you in the description box if that's something that you're looking for. But it just helps when you're frying your beef to keep it more universal in size and get it in smaller chunks. So we're going to use that to chop up our beef as we're frying it. And we're not going to add any seasoning into our beef as of now. We're just going to get it fried, and once it's fully fried, you will want to drain it. Now my beef is very, very lean, so I probably wouldn't even really have to drain it, but I know a lot of the beef that you get at the grocery store, it's, you know, not nearly as lean, so you will want to drain off that fat. The next ingredient that you will need is 1 quart of tomato juice. Now again, this is something that I can for myself, so I have it on hand and it's ready to go. Now I'm pretty positive you can buy tomato juice at the grocery store as well if you don't have your own canned tomato juice on hand. I'm sure it's just as good with the bought stuff. So we are going to go ahead and take our quart of tomato juice and pour it into a large kettle. Now I wanted to say you can probably do a half a batch of everything, although you will be using some canned ingredients, so using a half a can isn't as nice. But honestly, what I would do is just make a full batch and just freeze what you don't eat in smaller containers. It freezes very well, and then you can just get it out later, so that is very nice. Just make a big batch and then you have extra for later. So we're going to go ahead and pour in our tomato juice into a big kettle and just turn on the burner on maybe medium heat or whatever. You don't want it to get too hot too fast while you're mixing all of your ingredients together, but go ahead and turn on the burner. And then next we're going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, as well as 2 teaspoons of chili powder and 2 teaspoons of salt. And then we're also going to add in almost a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Now if you really don't like any sweetness at all into your chili, you can probably even cut it down a little bit farther. I'm not really one that likes a lot of sweet in their chili, so I do a scant 1/3 cup, but you could definitely go less than that if you would want to. And then you'll also be adding in 1 tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to start adding in some canned ingredients, starting with 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. And then next we're going to add in some chili beans. So just whatever chili beans that you have on hand, as well as 2 cans of the diced tomatoes. Now these are just the regular diced tomatoes in tomato juice, but I have already used the ones that are diced in, like, I think it's green chilies, and that works totally fine as well. And now some of these ingredients you can definitely kind of mix and match some to your own family's taste. You know how your family likes their food to be tasty. So I think this recipe would be really good by adding in some black beans if you would want to, as well as whole kernel corn. I think that would be just kind of a different side to a chili soup. Just add in more flavors and just make it more rich. I think that would be good as well if you want to add that. And I know of some people that really do not care for beans at all. You can omit the beans totally if you would want to as well. Another trick that some people do if their family, the kids don't really like beans, they will take their can of chili beans and mash up the beans and then put in the mashed beans that way, and it kind of, tricks the little ones into eating the beans. All right, so I think that is all of our ingredients for our chili soup, and now we're going to go ahead and get that to a nice simmer, just a low simmer, and then you will want to simmer that for 20 to 30 minutes, give or take. And yeah, make sure you taste it, see if it's to your liking, and then add whatever ingredients, if you want more spices in it, add it to your own liking, to however you think is good. If you are enjoying this video so far, I would love if you would subscribe, hit the like button, and become part of our little family here on YouTube. We would love to have you. And then for our breadsticks. Now, once your soup is all mixed together and you have it simmering, then you can start on your breadsticks. So for your breadsticks, you will want to melt a half a cup of butter and then add in 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I just use like the one that comes in a can, not your freshly grated Parmesan. And then 3/4 tablespoon of garlic powder and 1/2 tablespoon of just regular seasoned salt. And then you'll want to mix that together and just set that aside for a minute. Now for the dough for our breadsticks, you will want 1 cup of warm water. Now again, you don't want it too hot because you don't want to kill your yeast. And then there's a tablespoon of yeast. So I have instant yeast, so mine, I just mix it up and it's ready to go. But if you have the other kind of yeast, you'll want to set it for however long the instructions say. And then next you'll want to add in 4 tablespoons of oil, as well as 1/4 tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of sugar. So just mix that up a little bit, and then you'll want to start adding in your flour. And you'll add around 2.5 to 3 cups of flour. You don't want it, too sticky that you can't handle it, but you don't want it really tough either. So 2.5 to 3 cups is about right, I think, of what I add. And by the way, you'll want your oven preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for your breadsticks. So you'll want to have that preheated, so it's ready to go into the oven. Then once your breadsticks are all mixed up, you'll go ahead and spray a sheet pan, get that greased for your breadsticks, and then basically just throw in your dough and get it spread out all across the sheet pan, nice and smooth, and try to keep it fairly even, a nice even layer. And you probably won't want to go all the way out to the edges, which is totally fine. Just spread it out the best you can. And then once you have it all spread out, you'll want to take a pizza cutter or something of this sort and cut it into your breadstick slices. So whatever size breadsticks you want, you'll just cut it into that size. And you probably won't be able to quite reach all of the edges, so just cut those, finish cutting them with a knife or something. And then once you have everything cut, you can go ahead and just spread on your butter mixture that you mixed earlier. And you might have to stir it up a little bit because the Parmesan cheese kind of wants to sink to the bottom. But yeah, once you have it stirred up a little bit, just go ahead and spread it all over your breadsticks the sliced breadsticks, and this will just kind of help so that your butter mixture kind of seeps in between all of those cuts and seep into your breadsticks a little bit better. Now, I have done it both ways. My recipe says to put it in the oven right away without letting it rise. I have already just let it sit out for maybe 10 minutes or so, just till it starts rising. So however you prefer, if you like more just flat breadsticks, you can just put it in the oven right away, bake it for 15 to 20 minutes until it's just nice and brown, no more, it's not doughy anymore, and you're good to go. If you like puffier breadsticks, a little more depth to them, you can let them rise a little bit, until you can see them rising, and then you can put them in the oven. So 10 to 15 minutes is your bake time, and they should be ready, and they're really good. If you serve them right away, serve them warm. You can serve them with a marinara sauce for dipping, or pizza sauce is usually what I use because I usually have an open can in the refrigerator. If you're eating them with your chili soup, you can also just dip them into your soup and eat them that way. So by now your chili soup should have been simmering for a while, and it should be ready to eat. It should be ready to go. So yeah, basically just serve those together. If you want another side dish or whatever, you can add that to it. But this has been one of our absolute favorites, especially in the wintertime when it's so cold outside. Something about a nice warm soup and some nice breadsticks, it just soothes your insides and it just makes you feel warm. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe tutorial, and hopefully you'll try this recipe for yourself. Let me know what you think about it. And if you have not yet done so, I would love if you would be subscribed to our channel and become part of our little family here. I love to share videos with you. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know that you enjoyed it. All right, that is it for today. I will see you next time. Bye.